there was the question earlier we didn't answer. I'll do this as like a bonus add-on video at the end of the recording or something. So
Okay.
you guys are asking about the 20 pip and dip compounding chart and using it with these signals, okay? So the 20 pip and dip chart, it is expecting you to only have a 10 to 20 pip stop loss. That's it, right? So you have to count that. So if, let's say you have, a $200 account size and the compounding chart right now is telling you to take a 0.6 or something, which is a little high, but just to make the example easier to break down, we'll say it's telling you right now to take a 0.6 for some reason. So now you have to say, well, this 0.6 is assuming that I have a 20 pip stop loss, right? So if your trade has a 45 pip stop loss, right, that means this trade, if you were to risk the 0.6, is risking just over, actually we'll do 40 just so it's easier. We'll say 40, is risking 2 times more, right? So that means you need to half your lot size, right? Because let's say if I get to the 0.6 here is going to be $6. So this means on a 20 pip trade, I would be negative 120. So if it was a 40 pip trade, that means I'd be negative 240. Well, if I want to stay negative 120, that means I need to take this 0.06 and go to a 0.3. Now the 0.3 at 40 pips is going to equal the 120. So you just need to account for that. Realize that sheet is only expecting you to keep a 20 pip stop loss. So whatever lot size it's telling you, adjust it percent-wise to whatever the trade is. If the trade's 60 pips, then 3x it. If the trade's 10 pips, or if the trade is 60 pips, then you take your lot size and you put it in a third. If the trade is only 10 pips, which would technically be the double, you would double your lot size, right? Instead of putting a 0.1, you could put a 0.2 because you're only going half the distance, but you want to risk the same amount of money. So that's how you would still use that compound chart with the free Forex.co signals. Now the free Forex.co signals are almost never 20 pips. So if you have a $500 account and that compound chart is telling you to put a lot size on it, you put that lot size on and that trade loses, you are going to lose a lot on your account if you did not calculate that difference. But as long as you calculate that difference, you'll be fine. What's the percent risk on trade on the 20 pip and dip strategy? It depends on which setting you have on it. The 20 pip and dip strategy actually has, let me see, I'll pull it up. I don't have much video. That's the wrong one. Let me pull it up. But the 20 pip and dip sheet, it has an option for, I think, 4 different risk settings. So it depends on what you want to put. The way to figure out what it's risking for you is I'm going to show you right now. Share it with me, 20 pips and dip trading plan. Okay, so I have an old one. This one doesn't have the selector on it, but I'll still show you guys how to figure this out. Okay, so as you see, I got a $50. Can everyone see this first? Let me make sure everyone sees this. Yeah? Okay. So we have a $50 balance, right? It's telling us to put a 0.05 up for a 20 pip trade. Now we got to remember, this is thinking we're doing a 10 or 20 pip stop loss, right? So that means at a 0.05, that's 50 cents, right? 50 cents a pip. So that means at 20 pips, we're losing $10. So that means this one's risking 20% of our account at this default setting. Now this is an old version of it where you actually don't have the selector. On the new version, which you guys will have the link to, wherever you grab it, it'll be updated. This is the old one. You'll have a selector here that says like conservative, low risk, medium risk, high risk. That's how you'll figure it out. Just figure out what the lot size is and just think, it's thinking 20 pip stop loss. So calculate how much money per pips your lot size means and just see how much of your account balance it's taking out. That's how you'll figure out the percent. I don't know the exact percent off the top of my head. I can't say the high risk is 8 and the medium is 5. I have no idea. The 20 pip and dip though, it is a little more aggressive than your typical, 3-5%. But I don't recommend you like investing $1,000 and then going to this, putting in $1,000 balance and then 20 pip and dipping it. This is something that's meant for you to start with a small amount, with a skill you're consistent at, and go it rapid. So like, don't put your nest egg in, don't put money you can't lose into it. That's why I recommend just, $50, $100, something that you could lose, but 30 trades in, you could be at 11 grand if you follow it. So it's really powerful. And it shows you don't need big money. Does that make sense so far for everybody? That'll be the best way for you to figure out the percent. And then pick one, like when you see that and you figure out what it's chancing to lose for you, pick the setting that makes sense for you. Pick what you're comfortable with losing per trade, right? You can't be comfortable winning money trading if you're not comfortable losing money, right? It's a yin and a yang. You have to be comfortable with both. So you have to be just as comfortable losing $10 as you are winning 20, right? If you can't handle losing 1,000, you can't handle earning 10,000 on it, right? At least with trading. Maybe something else, yeah. But you need to be able to handle a loss if you want to be able to handle your wins. Trading is not just a winning game. And then for those of you you take this, let's say you get to the fourth trade here, right? You enter the fourth trade and this trade loses, right? So you had the $86 balance, but instead you lost the $16. So now you went back down to, $60 or $70. So now you just go up here, you type in 70, and you start at number 1, right over. And you just keep going until you hit that 10K or whatever it is. That's how you reset on a loss. Does that make sense too for everybody? I had some people before asking, well, what happens if I take a loss, or what happens if I earn a little bit more and now it's not following it? This is adjustable. It'll change lot sizes and everything as you adjust the amounts. It changes it all for you. So